welcome back to the Three Sided Box podcast. Today, I am David, your host, as always and as forever, because it's my show. And I'm joined by my brother Michael.
What's up?
And Adamo again.
Still haven't missed the podcast.
The streak lives on.
I'm like 4-0 right now.
This is our fourth one. Yeah.
Let's hope Vince McMahon doesn't somehow intervene.
Maybe Brock Lesnar's going to come and interfere that, and then Roman or something. Anyways, today's topic, we're talking about the NHL playoffs. They are underway, or about to be underway. We got 8 matchups, East and West, and we're going to talk about it. And just a quick shout out, we just filmed the video. It's going to be out either just after this podcast is released, probably before, with our predictions. So it's not too long of a video. I don't know how long it is yet. I haven't edited it, but I would assume it's not longer than about 20 minutes, max 30, and I think that's really pushing it. So if you guys want to check it out, and in the description below, I keep forgetting to mention this in the videos, but I put the times with each specific matchup. So if you want to skip and just get to the point, you could just do that going through the description. So go check that out, and we're just going to continue the conversation up here. So let's kick it off, guys. Eastern Conference. Montreal, New York. Talk.
I know at least locally there's a lot of people saying, Montreal's...
Explain why it's local, Michael.
We are... I thought we went over this, but whatever. We're in Montreal. We're living in Montreal.
Who knows? This is...
Yeah, it's true. For our new viewers out there, I need to just say that.
This is a new podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry about that. So we live in Montreal. Locally, there's a lot of people, saying... Montreal's this, Montreal's that. They have Price, they have a better team, and they're really not giving the Rangers a good shot. And I don't really understand, because the Rangers were in probably probably the hardest division in hockey, and they did really well. If it wasn't for a really tough division,
how many points did they finish with?
Like 103 or something, and they're the first wild card. So I mean, that's pretty damn good, if you ask me. So I think they're being underestimated. And like I said, I think Montreal does have a little bit of an edge because they do have Price in nets. But if Price has one bad game and they're able to steal one in Montreal, I think this series is going to be really tough for Montreal to come back from. I don't know where they are.
You're trying to find what the points.
Yeah, there's usually a thing that says standings, but. Oh, they're there. 2016-17 standings.
Oh, because they got rid of it when they added playoffs. NHL.com, get your shit together.
No, the format sucks.
Jesus Christ.
Go scroll down. 102 points.
102 points. That's more.
Montreal's 103.
Yeah, in a way easier division.
And the Rangers have a higher differential.
And they got 6 free points from Ottawa for shitting the bed like 2 weeks ago.
I wanted to mention another thing is the Rangers are one of the best road teams in the league. And I think that's advantageous for them because it's starting in Montreal.
Not to mention they have like ridiculous more playoff experience.
Exactly. I mean, I know that their defense has been suspect this year, but man, like honestly, I think it's just because they're going to be underestimated. I don't think they're a cup contender or anything like that, but I think that they're one of those teams that could I don't really call this an upset, but kind of upset, because Montreal's the highest seed.
Technically, because New York is technically what the 7th seed, right? In this,
technically, so which is
ridiculous.
Really
playoff format's so shit. But anyways, okay, so just so everyone knows, Michael picked the Rangers in 7.
Yeah.
I picked the Rangers in 5. Adamo did not pick on camera, but what do you have?
Well, I haven't really followed Montreal much this season or hockey for the better part of the past 2 years. But,
like most of us, let's be honest.
I don't know, but. Every time I look at the Habs, I constantly see them going overtime, and to me that's not convincing.
No,
against lesser.
And it goes into 3-on-3 pickup hockey as a decider.
People are saying, "Oh, they're still winning," but thanks.
Yeah,
it's not really.
I think the thing is with Montreal is that they're constantly getting outchanced, outplayed, and they somehow pull it out of their ass. And then they wonder, oh, last year was a fluke. We didn't make the playoffs. No, last year wasn't a fluke. Last year is the reality of your team without Price. Without him in nets, you're maybe a wild card team. That's it. And I'm not trying to be biased. I hate the Habs, I'll be honest, but that's what it is. I try to be objective. I hate Chicago, but I know that they're a really damn good team. I'm not gonna say they're not gonna, do something in the playoffs because I'm not an idiot. But Montreal,
pretty dumb.
So, 2 years ago, Price basically brought us to the playoffs.
Well, if it wasn't,
that guy was exhausted.
Exactly. If it wasn't, and then
everybody got injured last year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Montreal's.
Exactly, and you brought up another great point. How is Price going to stay healthy? What happens if he tweaks something and he has to be out for 1 or 2 games? I'm not saying for the whole series. I'm saying for 1 or 2 games, which could make the Rangers have a slight advantage.
They finally got a good backup, Michael.
Yeah, Al Montoya.
Not Peter Budaj, not Mike Condon,
not Tokarski.
Not Tokarski. They got fucking Montoya.
The fact that they're playing a team that has as much points as them
in a harder division.
Is pretty scary, like you mentioned.
The 1 versus the 7 seed.
I'm a Habs fan, but I'm also not like the rest of the idiots. I have common sense, and I'm very realistic about things. I don't think the Habs are going to win this series.
Quote, which just for the non-Montrealers, is extremely rare in this city to find a Habs fan who's rational about their actual team.
Yeah, that said, I think Rangers in 6.
That's a fair assessment.
I'm going to give Montreal a fighting chance in this one. I think that Price can be that X factor. I think
he could, but I think the Rangers
could win them the series single-handedly.
No, he can't because it's playoffs. He can win them a game.
He won against Boston single-handedly.
Yeah, but Boston's not New York.
They were better than New York at that time.
They were both pretty good. Boston just was like the hotter team then.
They won the President's Trophy that year.
Yeah. The hotter team.
No, they were
the President's Trophy means absolutely fucking nothing.
I'm just saying they came off a final and they revamped their team and they still won the President's Trophy. Look, I'm just saying that if anybody could steal a series or steal a game or whatever, it's Carey Price.
Oh, what's his name did it for the Habs a few years ago? We went to the conference final.
Oh, Mike fucking Kama piece of shitty.
No, but our goal. No,
Halak.
Yeah, Halak. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
Halak. You're talking about 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look,
9, 10, something
it's the playoffs. Anything's possible. I think Montreal does have a decent team, but is it good enough to go line for line against New York? I really don't think so. Like I said, I got New York in 7. I just think Price is going to steal them a couple games in New York.
Does Montreal have like injuries? I heard like Weber's injured.
No,
he should be healthy.
They're just resting them for the playoffs. It's like more precautionary. Like I said, I haven't really been paying attention much to the Rangers, but I don't think they've been having any major injuries.
Well, Lundqvist was kind of like out of it, not out of it injury-wise, but he wasn't that hot the last couple of games.
Yeah, it was kind of like mentally.
He hasn't had a good record he hasn't had a good season in general for his standards, but he picked it up later in the season. But then towards the last week or so, he's been a little bit off again. But he's still the king, in my opinion. I still think he has a lot of juice left in the tank. This year he got a lot of rest too, and Antti Raanta played a lot of games and played really
Especially
well.
early on.
How old is he now?
He's Lundqvist? Oh, that's
35, I think.
Yeah, mid-30s.
It must be at least that. Yeah.
Hank. I think he is.
I think he still has quite a couple more years in him.
He's 35.
He's 35. Yeah.
Maybe a couple more years.
Yeah. Look, he's also the best dressed man in the NHL.
Yeah.
So.
In New York.
In New York, so
Business City.
Yeah. Look, the reason why I'm not talking much is because I'm extremely biased against the Canadians. I hate them. There's nothing more in life I cannot stand than the Montreal Canadiens and their fan base. And this being a guy who grew up here, never was a fan, never will be, and I just to avoid too much controversy, I just keep my mouth shut when the topic comes up. But we all got the Rangers winning this series, so. We'll move on to the next one. It's Ottawa, my favorite team, versus the Boston Bruins. Before people go on and say, "Oh, you chose the team right next to Montreal," no, I didn't. It's pure coincidence that they're an hour and a half away from where I live and that they're Canadian. I don't give a rat's ass about Canadian teams. I don't give a rat's ass about how close they are. It's all pure coincidence. Trust me. Let's talk about the series. You guys kick it off and talk.
Well, I guess we have to kind of give a little bit of background to the series before we begin. Ottawa has been relatively consistent. I know that they've been slumping a little bit as of late, the past month or so.
Because of a lot of injuries.
But whatever, slumping regardless. Confidence hasn't been there, but the past week you said that they won 4 straight games until the last game, which you rested all your players. But you still have been through a lot of injuries. I know that, especially on defense, you guys have been thin to some degree. But I think everybody's going to be healthy for the playoffs. Boston, on the other hand, has been surging ever since they got rid of Claude Julien. And honestly, at that time, I thought that they were done. I thought that Tampa's going to take their spot for sure, but they proved me wrong. Brad Marchand has clearly emerged, even though he's a bit dirty. as I would say one of the best players in the league, and he's one of the best shooters in the league for sure.
Considering all the pieces they lost,
he's
stepped
up.
Isn't he like top 5?
I think he's number 3 or 4 in the league.
It was McDavid, Crosby,
Kane, and then
I think
Woo!
I think he's 4th.
I think it might be Burns then him or something like that.
No, I think it's Marchand.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I think he has like 85 or 86 points.
You go to stats.
Yeah, he's in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I know he's in top 5 or top 6 or something, but I don't know exactly.
Oh, and Backstrom was 5th.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Backstrom is 5th.
Kucherov
was number 6.
Yeah.
In points.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with 85, which is
well. Then
amazing.
TSN, get your shit together because you put up a different graphic this morning.
He's 4th in goals.
Oh,
that's what you saw.
Well, no, I saw like 80 something points. Crosby had 89.
Yeah, well, who knows? Whatever.
Regardless, clearly he's definitely one of the premier players. Patrice Bergeron.
Guy right there, Michael.
Yeah, receding hairline.
Yeah.
What is it? Sorry, that distracted me a lot. Patrice Bergeron, one of the most consistent players, probably in the league. The guy is like a defensive beast. He wins.
Great face.
He wins
like
the
60%.
number 1
face-off guy in the league. So.
And he's been that for like the past like 5 years. You know, like he's been insane on the face-off circle. Plays with a ton of heart. Highly skilled too offensively. Very underrated in my opinion. So it has the makings of being a really, really good series. With that being said, I have Ottawa in 7 because Guy Boucher, for some reason, every time he starts off with a team, his first year with the team, regardless of at any level, he always goes to at least the conference final.
Don't take our word for it, 100%.
But I think he has something like related to that. So I think I'm gonna have Ottawa in 7. I think it's gonna be really close, but I think that home ice was really clutch at the end. I think having if you were to play in Boston, I might have changed my pick on like the 5th and 7th game. But I think with that home ice, I think it becomes a really hard place to play in the playoffs.
Well, Ottawa went undefeated this year against the Bruins, 4-0, or whatever the matchup was, and I think we've only lost to them once in like the last 2 years or year and a half in regulation. Craig Anderson seems to have their number, and Mark Stone I think has 10 points in like 16 games against them or something like that, so that's pretty good too. Yeah, we've had their number this year, and I hope that translates well into the playoffs. But usually it doesn't. Usually it's the opposite when playoffs come around. They got the experience, we don't. I didn't pick in the video because we're not allowed to pick our own teams, but I see Ottawa winning this in 7 also. It's a good matchup. I find it. There's not. There's a rivalry there, but it's not like a super heated rivalry. It's not like the way it is against Montreal, the way it is against Buffalo, the way it is against Toronto. Because we face these guys in the playoffs. We've never faced Boston before, so that's not there yet. And I don't want to hate Boston, so I'm kind of hoping it doesn't ever reach that level. I just want to see good hockey, but I'm really hoping
it always ends up being hatred in the playoffs.
But
no
one big point I didn't mention is that Ottawa's almost 100% fully healthy going into the playoffs. Mark Method is supposed to come back, if not game 1, definitely game 2, with his destroyed finger. Thank you, Sidney Crosby. Craig Anderson's been playing really well lately. Cody Ceci is healthy. Zach Smith's coming back. Erik Karlsson's coming back. We got a pretty healthy roster going into the playoffs, so I'm hoping that pays dividends. Who do you have winning this series?
I agree with you guys. I think that Ottawa, towards the end of the season, they won a bit of a slump there.
Yeah, but again, due to injuries. 65
exactly.
games were lost due to injury for each guy.
I think like what you mentioned in the video, you wanted to avoid that Battle of Ontario.
Yeah, I did want to avoid the Battle of Ontario. I wanted to avoid the Capitals. Yeah. I wanted to avoid the Rangers, and I wanted to avoid the Habs.
So I think in the end, it benefited you guys.
It's like the best possible matchup.
But yeah, you guys got the better draw for yourselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Ottawa, they always like scare me when they play, especially when they play Montreal. They always have like these guys that just come out like Stone and Hoffman, and every time Hoffman is about to shoot, I close my eyes because that guy's release is
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy shot.
James Neal release.
You never know
exactly.
where it's gonna go.
No, James Neal really. Yeah, he's not crying on the floor, crying like a little bitch. Anyways,
we're gonna do that later.
So who do you have winning it?
I think you guys. I'm gonna say Ottawa win 7 as well.
Yeah.
Look,
Who did Johnny pick?
It's gonna be a tough series.
I think he picked Boston in
7. I picked them in 7.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know he picked Boston, but look, it has the makings of a really good series. Two teams were kind of like an unknown, you know, like no history really between each other in the playoffs.
At all. It's the first time ever.
Exactly, so I think it has the makings of a really good series. A really new series, a new rivalry might emerge. And like I said, I think it could go either way. I think it's going to be one of those toss-up ones where you flip a coin and see who wins.
See? Both ends go. Next up, the capital of the USA. Washington Capitals going against the Toronto Maple Leafs, the other Ontario team. Interesting matchup. What do you guys have coming out of this one, and why?
We spoke a bit about this in the mid-season review,
Yeah.
about how Washington always does well every season and
shits the bed.
Yeah, it shits the bed in the playoffs.
That's usually in the second round, though.
Yeah.
Ovi has never gotten past the second round in his career,
which is pretty sad for him.
Well,
and it's not like he hasn't been a playoff performer. The guy does perform in the playoffs. It's just the rest of his team just shits the fucking bed.
And I find like everyone's saying this year, it's different. Washington, it's gonna be different. For
it
Washington
could be
this year, yeah.
but I don't know if it is.
Look, if you honestly look, and you guys might agree, might disagree, but if you look objectively, top to bottom in the league, there isn't a single team deeper and more talented than the Washington Capitals. Not a single team could match them line for line.
Yeah.
Every single
on paper.
On paper, yeah, exactly. That's
clear.
what I'm saying.
You have to make that
on paper, yeah.
Clear.
Now, it's just like, to me, it's more of like this series is not really a true indicator. It's kind of like last year where Washington played Philly when they won the President's Trophy again. Philly, obviously, not a great team, top to bottom. Kind of the same thing with Toronto. Toronto's done a really good job. I think Babcock should get a lot of credit. That coaching staff should get a lot of credit for taking this team to the playoffs. Obviously, it's a huge task, but like I said, I just don't think Toronto could go line for line against a team as deep as Washington in the first round. Would there maybe be an upset? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it would have to come in the first two games. Like Toronto would have to steal one in the first two games to have a chance in this series.
Yeah.
If Washington goes up 2-0, which is likely, or what I assume will happen, then there's a spider that just went on here.
Ugh, what the fuck? I knew it. I felt something itchy. I was like, what the fuck is that? Okay, keep talking.
Kill it.
I am killing it.
Kill it with fire.
Phoenix in here? Okay, keep talking.
Don't kill it.
Keep talking about the sport, damn it.
Anyways,
I'll be back. Keep going.
Anyways, that looked disgusting.
Fuck.
I
felt something on me. I was like, what the fuck
I was trying not to laugh the whole time. I saw it like falling. It was like on your arm for like a second, then he moved here and it fell down.
It was like felt something itchy.
That was weird.
Superpowers, though.
Oh my god.
Christ,
yeah, next Spider-Man. Yeah, in general, I don't think Toronto could match them line for line, not in the first round. So my pick, Washington 5.
Washington in 5.
Yeah.
Oof. I think Toronto's coming off really hot, especially after clinching. And was it the last game of the season?
Second to last.
Second to last. It might be a tough series for them. They're a bit inexperienced, a lot of young guys. Then we spoke, like I mentioned before, about Washington. I honestly don't know. You said in 5?
5.
Washington in 5. I think I see Toronto stealing one away. Maybe I'm gonna say Washington in 6.
6?
I'll say 6.
So they're gonna get one more in Washington. Maybe like game 5 or something. It's like 3-1 series.
Yeah.
And they take one like overtime because
Washington
lays off the pedal.
Yeah, stealing one.
I could see that. I could see that. One thing I will say, I definitely don't see this going 7 games. Toronto clearly, like I said, is outmatched in this series. This was honestly the worst possible draw for Toronto out of the whole East.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're a young up and coming team. They're just not good enough right now to compete with a team with the talent of Washington. Like I said, line for line, it would have been much better for them if they were able to draw like a team like Ottawa, where they have that rivalry, they have that history of beating Ottawa in the playoffs. I just don't see it happening with Washington. I don't see it going past 6 games. I hope so for those Toronto fans. I just don't see it happening. I don't know.
Either way, the crowd's gonna be like really crazy in Toronto.
It will be. That's another thing. If they steal one in Washington, and the crowd's gonna be ramped up in Toronto, like you said, it's gonna be even outside. It's gonna be ramped up, man. If they could make it maybe like a sneaky 2-1 series for Toronto, like would they have a chance? I don't know, man.
And, like,
I don't know.
Choke it up like they did against Boston, maybe.
You know, that was a big choke. I'll never forget that. I was watching that live. That was a great.
I'm back.
Great, You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
So I said Washington in 6. You said Washington in 5.
Yeah.
I said Washington in 5 also. I guess I'll give my point now that I'm back. Washington is a superior team to Toronto. Yes, Washington does tend to shit the bed in the playoffs. However, they're playing the Maple Leafs, who almost didn't make it at all. And I think that's enough to beat them. And I don't think the Leafs are as good as they think they are. I think they had rookies playing really well, and I think they're going to get hit with that sophomore slump next year. And we'll see what happens going forward. But
I hope not for them.
I do feel Washington might have what it takes this year. I know every year people say this, but I feel like they just feel more complete. And I know, again, everyone says it every year, but this year it does feel different. I don't know why.
Honestly, I was almost 90% sure when Pittsburgh was playing them. I'm like, I think Washington takes this. I don't think there's any way Pittsburgh could take a game in Washington. And they completely dominated them.
But Pittsburgh is not Toronto.
You're right, but I'm just saying that in terms of complete, like, I think...
Whoa, sorry. Oh, that was me. My
yeah,
bad.
that was you.
I didn't realize. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Earthquake.
That almost fell. Anyways,
it's safe.
Washington is going to be, like I said, a tough team to beat. I just think that they're...
That's I threw her a toy, and she came in the room. It's right behind you.
It's just like a shitstorm tonight.
Yeah, tonight everything's just shitting. Just kick it out.
Why'd you do that, man?
What?
Now she's gonna just jump around.
So what? Who cares?
Anyways.
Jesus Christ, she's an idiot.
Okay, I'll leave
it. Keep talking. Don't worry. Keep going.
Anyways, like I said,
it's the realest podcast you'll ever listen to.
Literally.
Unedited, raw.
What were we talking about?
I don't know what we were talking about. I think we went over all the points. Point is, Toronto's not good enough right now. I really hope that they are. Washington 5, Washington 6. David says Washington 5 as well.
Oh, what did Johnny have?
He had Toronto in 7.
Oh yeah.
He had Toronto in 7. I don't know what he's smoking. There is no rivalry there, so there is no exterior like motive to play. You know, like a team really hard as Washington. You know, like I said, if they're playing Ottawa or Boston or Montreal, I'd say maybe, but now no. Anyways, so we got Washington 5, Washington 6, and David agrees with me Washington in 5. Johnny says Toronto in 7.
Yeah.
I think we should move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I think we've done enough of this series.
Analysis on this one series.
I think we actually went into too much depth because David is not with us, unfortunately, because he's doing whatever he's doing like an idiot.
I'm back.
Yeah. Anyways, so we moved on. We're on to Pittsburgh, Columbus.
What's that?
What's that? I don't know. You tell me. I already pressed it. So yeah, Pittsburgh, Columbus. David, please, your return. You're fresh. You're new.
I'm back.
You're back.
Hot as fuck.
Yeah.
This room is boiling.
Yeah.
It feels like we're in like Mexico right now, like at a bar, but like the mosquitoes are like destroying us, but there's no
chaos happening.
Yeah, but there's no good-looking girls, and there's no drinks.
Yeah.
So mind you, usually there's not that many good-looking girls. Let's be honest. All right, Pittsburgh, Columbus. I picked Pittsburgh in 6 because I think Columbus is a fluky team. They're a good team, young team, but I don't think they're 100 whatever points they got. Let's see what it was.
108.
108 points. They're definitely not
50
that
wins.
good. 50, yeah, 100%. They're not that. They're maximum like a 95-point team in my opinion, at least right now. Tortorella has them firing on all cylinders. But Pittsburgh is the reigning defending champs. They're not gonna exit in the first round, that's for sure. And Crosby, had a great year. Usually doesn't translate well in the playoffs historically with him. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Probably am.
You're definitely wrong.
But yeah, I think Pittsburgh has the better team all around. Period. That's more than enough.
Look,
And Pittsburgh has the experience too. I didn't mention that.
yeah, that's true. Pittsburgh fresh off a cup win. Columbus, a young team. Wenberg, Werenski, Jones, Atkinson, Calvert. All these guys are young guys. Your boy Saad.
Seth fucking Rollins.
Seth fucking Rollins.
Sod.
Because this is not a PG show. We say Seth fucking Rollins, not
Yeah.
frickin'.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares about wrestling?
Who's still on Raw, baby? For
Anyways, so Columbus, like I said, young team. I don't think it's a fluke because I think it's like a new wave. It's their prospects coming up and finally emerge. Wave after wave, exactly. A little 300 reference there. Like I said, Columbus is young. Pittsburgh is experienced.
Columbus Young, it sounds like a rapper's name.
Exactly, Columbus Young. Exactly. Good point. Because you're always making me lose my train of thought. So
Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up. Go.
With that being said, Pittsburgh is the fastest team in the league. I think by far, and I think that's really going to burn them in the latter games. I think it's going to be Pittsburgh in 7.
That one?
Columbus, they had a hell of a season. Can say a bit of Leicester City-esque.
Yeah,
If I may.
yeah, 100%, yeah. For all the soccer people out there, minus the eventual trophy. I hope.
But that being said, I think Pittsburgh defending champs. I mean, anytime you got Crosby on your team, you just can't count them out. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I think I'm gonna say Pittsburgh in 6. I think they should handle them in 6.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Pittsburgh usually doesn't lose to these teams like the Islanders, who came up a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
You know, Columbus even a couple of years ago. They usually handle them in 6 or 7 games.
Johnny has Pittsburgh in 5.
And they also
Johnny also picked Toronto in 7, so he's not very smart, is he?
Bold. As you would say.
There's actually a difference between bold and stupidity.
they also didn't have like a Stanley Cup hangover. Like sometimes,
No, definitely not.
sometimes teams win the cup and they don't
They
even
shit
make
the bed,
playoff-
yeah.
They only make the playoffs the year after. But actually, I think I mentioned this in the first podcast that they're kind of still under the radar after having Washington finish first.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
no one really. Well, I mean, it's Pittsburgh. You're always gonna pay attention to them, but the attention was mainly on Washington and how good they're doing and how
Yeah.
this season's gonna be different. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, Pittsburgh is just still up there,
I feel like Toronto stole a lot of thunder this year too.
and
from
that
the
too.
media.
Yeah.
What
There
else
was,
is
there was a
right?
lot going
Yeah,
on.
big surprise here in Canada
There
with
was,
TSN
there was Toronto.
sucking their
There was McDavid having a hell of a season.
Yeah.
There was the Washington stories. And
Yeah. True.
a lot of things.
Edmonton
going
making the playoffs. 5 Canadian teams in.
on. 5
you know,
Canadian
it's like
after like 0. It was a 0,
zero last year.
last year.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stories going on.
crazy.
But yeah, I'm gonna say Pittsburgh in 6.
Well, I think we said what needs to be said about this.
What
Eastern.
did Johnny say?
5.
Pittsburgh in 5.
Yeah.
I think this series has the makings to be, and I say this for every series, but honestly, I think this series would really, I think is going to be the one that stands out among the Eastern Conference series in the first round. I think it's cool to see a team like Columbus, as young as they are, step up and do their thing. The one thing I would like to see is to see it go on into next year, whether they win or lose this series. With Tortorella, with his attitude.
Torts.
One year he could win the cup, and the next year his team could be the worst in the league because of he's so volatile as a coach
Mm-hmm.
that you could just
He's outdated,
believe in him because he's volatile, or you don't believe in him because he's volatile.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it go on into next year. I think they do have the room to handle his personality, but I think it's gonna come a bit short this year. Unfortunately, they got a pretty tough draw with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they did. That's the car outside. Idiots think there's a speedway. Alright, let's move on to the West. We got the Chicago Blackhawks Salute to the great city of
Okay,
Chicago.
enough. Get on with it.
It's kind of like 2v1 right now.
God, you guys make me sick. Make me sick.
Should
That team, I see their logo, I see their jersey, I want to vomit. Because it's just gross. Anyways, go ahead.
Nashville.
Thank you.
I give you your shout out. I just shout out to FYI. Michael's a huge Nashville Predators fan.
Big fan.
He almost drowned himself in Jamaica right after the PK Subban Shea Weber trade, which I broke the news because I am a great journalist. Give you a little brief backstory on what happened. We were in Jamaica last summer with our family, and I was in our bathroom taking a shit.
I was eating lunch.
That's not a lie.
Really discreet.
I'm an honest guy. I say it how it is. I'm a straight shooter. I was in the bathroom taking a shit, and the Wi-Fi at the hotel is the best in your room, so I was on my phone. I was on Facebook, and someone said, "What the fuck, PK? What happened?" And then someone wrote, "What the fuck, Weber?" So I'm like, what is going on? I go on Twitter and I just see everything explode that Weber got traded for PK Subban.
Literally my worst nightmare occurred.
Yeah, and then I'm freaking out. I'm in the middle of unloading and I wiped my ass so fast. I ran across the whole resort in flip-flops, almost murdered myself because where they were eating lunch there was no internet connection, or a very weak one. So I ran as fast as I could to be the one to break the news. I was scared he might get to his phone and check it out, because at the beach there was good Wi-Fi too. And
I left my phone at the beach, by the way. At this point, I was not at the the lunch table.
Yeah,
with my phone.
Yeah. Anyways, to get to the end of the story, get to the point. I broke the news, and our cousin's husband was there, and he's a diehard Habs fan, diehard PK Subban fan. So I broke the news to both of them, and I come running and I just slammed the phone in their face with TSN saying PK Subban got traded for Shea Weber. Now my cousin's husband immediately didn't believe me. He thought it was photoshopped, some prank off the internet.
So did I.
No, you didn't even respond. My brother was staring at me blankly, then just like, what? And with a smile, I'm like, PK Subban is a Montreal, is a Nashville Predator, Shea Weber's a Montreal Canadian. And he just ran to the beach without even thinking about it, grabbed his phone, and how many text messages did you have?
I got 91 texts in 4 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
91.
91?
91.
Well, he's in a group chat.
Doesn't
it wasn't
matter.
91 individual people.
No, but I had about 10 different people say haha, or you guys won the trade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you. My favorite athlete of all time just got traded to my most hated team, arguably of all time, for a player that I couldn't stand. And that we made a joke. I remember me and one of my friends, we made a joke every time we were in class and we were just talking sometimes. And he's just like, what if Subban got traded 1-for-1 for Weber? And
We'd always say that, even here.
And I'd be like, David Poile is not a stupid GM. He will never do that. Every time at a conference, people ask him that, he's like, you need a king's ransom to get Shea Weber.
Apparently PK Subban was that.
Clearly you're a fucking idiot, alright? You're a fucking retard, alright? And I hate you.
He thought it was Yannick Weber.
I hate
and that's why they signed him after, to be like, oh shit, we got the wrong guy.
Exactly. So, like I said, heartbreaking. I had to accept it. I had to move on. But definitely one of the biggest shocks of my life.
And it was great. I enjoyed it. I had a good laugh. And we always joked about it. With Carlson for Subban, Weber for Subban. Hey, Carlson ain't going anywhere because our GMs aren't complete morons. But let's get to the matchup. We're already, we're basically done the segment. Chicago-Nashville. I got Nashville losing in 6 of Chicago. Damo, who do you have?
Well, first I gotta ask. So, what's your opinion after a season with Subban? What do you think of him? How he performs?
He's a liability. He's even worse off than he was before.
Let me finish, okay? I feel like in the beginning of the season, the first 30 games. I mean, he was injured for midway through the season, from game 30 to 50. He was out with a suspected herniated disc, so he wasn't playing.
Suspected.
Yeah, he was never confirmed, but it's basically that's what happened.
He's a bitch.
Anyways. And he in his first 30 games, he was very, the same flashy. I need to make a point. I need to shoot the puck all the time type of guy.
I got to impress the new fans.
Exactly. And I was like, this trade is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. We're getting rid of our captain and our emotional leader for PK Subban, who to me is not on the same level as Shea Weber, because there's a reason why coaches and Mike Babcock and all these guys picked Weber over Subban at the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey. And also there's a reason why that GMs, even after this trade, Pierre LeBrun said, you can look it up, he's like, GM said Montreal won this trade by a landslide. So in the first 30 games I was thinking, okay, screw this, can't believe this happened. But then after, he's really improved his game, honestly. He's been a guy where he uses his agility and that speed he has to give a breakout pass, not to take it into the zone, but to give it to our speedy forwards who could do some damage. So that's one thing I'll give him, is that he's really improved his game as a complete player. He's becoming a better player, and I think under the leadership of our assistant coach Phil Housley, he's really done he's been doing wonders, and I think he's been doing a really good job. Wonders. So I really hope that you know, he could really perform in the playoffs, because a lot of Habs fans say he's a playoff performer.
He's most definitely not.
We'll see.
So yeah, go into your pick, and then I'll say my spiel. Go ahead. Look, I don't care if you. I understand we're the underdog. I get it. I'm not. I understand what people
like.
think.
How many times have we seen this matchup in the past few years?
This is the
third time in 7 years.
And I want to say it's gonna be different this time, but I still have to go with Chicago.
Kill him!
And I definitely want to come over for some games.
Oh, you definitely are.
I
already invited his friends over. I texted them yesterday.
Well, I already let them know.
Well, I did it first.
Anyways, I'll get straight to the point, and I'll say Chicago, and let's bring it to 7. Let's say Chicago in 7.
You're giving Nashville a fighting chance.
Yeah, well, I'll give them a fighting
Look,
chance.
it's better than Johnny's biased shit pick, which was
the clean sweep.
Nashville has never been swept, even when we played Detroit in his prime. What a stupid pick. Anyways,
you're a stupid pick.
For me, look, obviously Chicago is a favorite, deservingly so. They came back and they won the Central when it looked like Minnesota had it, all but wrapped up, and they won by a landslide.
Who called it?
Not you.
I definitely did.
Chicago. The thing is with Chicago is that over the past few years, they've been losing a lot of players, and that depth on that.
They still seem to do
line.
well.
Yeah,
kind of like Atletico Madrid, where they lose talent, and yet they're still competitive.
Their depth isn't as good as what it was.
That's what you said the last time.
Okay, enough. No, I didn't say that. I never said that.
Never.
Okay? Their depth isn't as good. Schmaltz is not as good as Sod. Don't stop fucking bullshitting.
Do you think Shod's good?
He's better than Schmaltz.
I think
that's
Schmaltz
what I'm saying.
Is fucking beast.
Well, you don't even know what that is.
I definitely do.
You don't. Anyways,
I'm a fan.
I didn't say it in the video because you can pick, but I need to believe in my team. It's time to step up. I think we have a deeper team. I think we have better defense and goaltending. If Rene's on point, you cannot stop him. He's if everything goes well, if everything goes as planned,
I think it's a line.
No, it's not that far fetched, idiot. It's not like the Habs winning the cup, okay, or something like that, okay. It's
or like the Hawks winning a 4th, right? After they're not gonna win a 3rd or a 2nd or a 1.
Stop being biased and just listen to what I have to say. Stop being a fucking idiot. All right. Nashville, I said, is gonna take this in 7. That's what I think they're gonna pull off an upset. I think if they get steal 1 in the first 2 games in Chicago, they have a really good chance of winning the series. But if Chicago's up 2-0, it's as good as done.
Okay. Well, I picked Nashville to lose in 6, and I think just I honest to God think that the Hawks' playoff experience their alone is gonna set them apart from this thing. And Subban, like I said in the video, is a fucking liability.
Whatever. All I know is that, by the way, Nashville is the worst luck in playoff matchups possible. This is unbelievable. I swear to every year we play this. And St. Louis and Minnesota are 2 wastes of playoffs picks. Okay.
Playoffs.
Those 2 guys are the 2 and 3 seed. It's a joke. I wish we could play Minnesota. We killed them in 5. But you know what? We're playing a harder team.
You got the Preds in 6.
I got the Preds in 7.
7. All right. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Minnesota, St. Louis. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
I barely have anything to say about this. I don't even know who I'm picking.
All right, I'll go first. I'm picking St. Louis in 6. I said this in the video. I'll expand on it a little bit. Mike Yeo has returned to where he got fired last year. He's not a good coach, let's be honest. He's a very average coach at best. Very weird looking dude.
Looks like a serial killer.
Yeah, he looks like if Peter Chiarelli murdered people, that's Mike Yeo.
If he was my next coach, I feel like if I like sneezed in front of him, he'd be like that germaphobe.
Ottawa was rumored to get him last year when we were looking for a coach, and thank God we didn't.
Maybe he's a nice guy. You never know.
He
looks like a dick.
Whatever. Anyways, he's coming back to Minnesota with St. Louis now as the head coach of St. Louis. He was groomed to be the next coach, the head coach of the Blues. At the end of the season, he was supposed to take over going into next year, but they fired Hitchcock at some point, I believe halfway, and they've been pretty good since. They've been way better than they were with him, that's for sure. And I think that's gonna pay dividends, and it's gonna bite Minnesota in the ass for firing this guy, just because it's sports, man. There's
poetic justice.
There's always some sort of story to be told in sports, and this is a nice story to be told. There's not really much story in the other ones, in terms of coaches and players returning home and shit like that. Yeah. There's a lot of it in this one. So I think that alone, because I really don't think St. Louis is that good of a team. But Minnesota had a great start to the year also. That's one thing we forget. Let's maybe for once their big season acquisitions from a couple of years ago with Parise and Suter would finally pay off for these guys. But let's be honest, it most likely won't. So I got St. Louis in 6.
I'm gonna completely agree with that pick. Minnesota has obviously, like you said, a hot start, but what we didn't mention is that ever since March they've been one of, if not the worst team in the league. And we all know around this time you need to get hot or you need to play decent to have a chance in the playoffs. Very few teams coming into the playoffs in the NHL at least could end up winning while being going in cold. So honestly, and Minnesota has a guy, Bruce Boudreau. We haven't talked to Bruce Boudreau. This guy is the biggest choker I've ever seen in my life. Maybe in sports. I don't know. But he's one of them.
Every team he goes to does well and then doesn't do well in the playoffs.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, like, look.
Capitals are still paying the price for it.
Yeah. I mean, look, Minnesota's a really good team. We all know that. They're deep. They could roll 4 lines. They have good defense, good goaltending so far. Like I said, man, I just don't trust them, man. You need that recovery from a slump. They haven't recovered at all from this slump. They've been doing nothing. Like they win 1 and then they lose 3. They win 2, they lose 3. Like it's a joke. I'm not scared of Minnesota at all. I would pick St. Louis. I'm gonna pick St. Louis in 6. I think this is really this is gonna be one of the more boring series. I think I'm completely uninterested in this series.
Yeah. Well, Johnny's got Minnesota in 5.
Really? In 5?
In 5. I have no explanation for why, so I won't even try to justify because I don't know.
I'm gonna agree with you guys. I'm gonna say St. Louis in 6. I don't know. Minnesota feels like that team that does consistently well during the season, every season. Mm-hmm. And then come playoffs, they're just whatever. They're just
shit the bed.
Yeah, they shit the bed, and they're just that team that is gonna be eliminated either first or second round or whatever. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I think St. Louis in 6.
It's a pretty boring matchup. Let's be honest.
Look, it's a central rivalry, but it's really like it's uninteresting. Like I don't know one person besides Blues and Wild fans that are like excited for this series. Like no one's like, oh wow, I'm gonna turn that on, like and see, there might be some heated stuff going. There might be an over like. This is like one of those games where like every game's like 4-1. There's no overtime, and it's like no close games, and like whoever wins would like win in like a blowout and like at home, like really obvious shit. So it's just boring. Like I really don't care about this series, even though it has a lot of implications if Nashville ends up moving on. It depends on the winner of this is who we're gonna play if we move on. So I don't know. I'm not really interested, but I got St. Louis in 6.
All right, well let's move on then. Go on to the next one. We got Anaheim, Calgary. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Red Hot Calgary. Not so much at the end, but definitely about a week or 2 ago. They won like 10 straight games or something like that. And Anaheim had a very quiet, great second half of the year. 25. I could be wrong again, but I believe they've won 25 straight home games. I'll check that right now.
Another team that was like under the radar this year, I guess.
Yep.
Even though they finished first.
Their home record 29-8-4.
Yep, they're very hard to beat at home.
Nice.
And ever since we called them lukewarm in that
the mid-season review.
Mid-season, we were well, not really mid-season.
Yeah.
It was more like a month ago. But regardless, they've been anything but lukewarm. They've been under the radar. Nobody even said. I think at that time, like San Jose had like a 10-point lead in the division, or 8 points, and like the closest one was like Edmonton or something like that. Like, you know, I don't know. It was. Anyway, it was something crazy like that. But Calgary has not won in Anaheim in, I think it's like 11 years.
That's crazy.
Which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, they won 25
including
home
playoffs.
games. Their 25 win was against the Flames.
Wow.
Okay.
So there you go.
I mean, clearly there's something
It's
going
meant to
on
be.
there.
This was about a week ago, so I don't know how many games they played at home since, but
And we all
impressive.
know what happens when Anaheim has hype. You know, they usually don't live up to it, but when they don't have hype, and when they're under the radar, people usually tend to overlook them a little bit and not really give them their due.
due diligence.
Due diligence, exactly. So I'm gonna pick Anaheim in 6. I think that home ice is really gonna come in handy. Calgary, it's been a good season. I think they're gonna be a staple in the playoffs, but I don't know. I just think that this is literally their worst possible matchup. Like if they went up against Chicago or something, they would have had a better chance than Anaheim. So I'm gonna pick Anaheim in 6.
Damo?
I'm gonna say Anaheim as well. I think Calgary, they're an exciting team, very young team.
Yeah.
We were talking about the crowd in Toronto being exciting to watch. I think every time I watch Calgary in the playoffs, like the Red Sea is just something. It's always fun to watch.
For sure.
It would have been really fun to see the Battle of Alberta. That would have been a fun series. But whatever, we got Anaheim, Calgary. I think Anaheim is gonna take it in 5. With their experience, I think they have enough to get by them.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think Anaheim in 5. I think Calgary, much like Columbus, good team, but not there yet. They were really bad last year. They did not have a great start to this year either. Johnny Gaudreau was like in and out of the lineup at one point with injuries and stuff. But I think that home win streak, of 25 games, whether it stood or not towards the end, is still huge. And I think it's going to play into the mindset of Calgary and Anaheim as well, whereas they're going to be really confident at home and not worry about. I think they're going to take the first 2 games easily at home in Anaheim. I think they're going to lose game 3, take game 4 and game 5, and win it in 5 games.
I could definitely see that happening. One thing I will say about Anaheim is that maybe it's a bit selfish for me to like kind of make a link, but I think because they lost to my Preds last year in the first round, unexpectedly, no one really expected that. I think it's gonna play in. I think they're gonna be have a little bit more motivation going into this first round.
This is also the 10-year anniversary of Anaheim winning the Cup.
They're
07 they won, so maybe I don't know.
San Jose's tired. I mean,
they still got the same core.
That's exactly. So
Perry and Getzlaf.
I don't think Cam Fowler's playing though, so that could play.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying, even though I'm predicting a 5-game series, I still think Calgary's gonna keep it close.
Yeah.
It's
they're gonna lose like 2-1.
Exactly.
Or maybe like 3-1 and like an empty netter.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think Anaheim overall is gonna just be exuding confidence and just be winning all the games as much as they could. Johnny's got Anaheim in 7. I personally think he's giving Calgary a little bit too much credit with that pick. But we'll see. Is that all we have to say about this one?
I think so.
Yeah, I just want to say I think Ryan Kessler's just gonna shut down.
Him too. He's a good player,
They
man.
have a lot of experience. There's a lot of.
And they're hungry. That's the thing. Like I said, we beat them. They're hungry, man.
Yeah.
They want to win.
Yeah. That window's closing on that team, and
For sure.
Carlisle's back too. His first year back with the Ducks. after leaving for Toronto for a couple of years. Or is it his second year? No, Boudreaux was with them last year. Yeah, so it's his first year back. All right, let's move on to the last matchup of the playoffs. We got the Edmonton Oilers versus the San Jose Sharks. Very interesting matchup. It's Edmonton's first time back in the playoffs in 11 years.
Yeah.
Longest playoff drought in the NHL.
Very reminiscent of the Oakland Raiders.
No. No.
No?
No, because
No?
the Oakland Raiders do not have a once-in-a-generational player like Connor McDavid.
We have Khalil Mack.
Mind you, those in football don't really exist, unless you're Tom Brady. But still, I digress. The Edmonton Oilers are a very young and exciting team. I think they're the most young and exciting team in the league.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good pieces in it.
About
Their-
time.
Their biggest problem, though, is goaltending and defense.
Goaltending has been pretty damn solid this year.
It's been solid, but Cam Talbot in the playoffs, I don't think he's ever even played a game.
I don't know.
A lot of players on this team haven't.
And one thing we haven't mentioned, but the San Jose Sharks are fresh off a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
That's, say what you want. That's a very impressive feat, and they lost to a really good Penguins team.
But
Any other team in the East, they could have probably beaten them in the final.
but San Jose, the thing is that they might not have Couture or Thornton because of injuries.
That's true, yeah. Big teeth Couture, big beard Thornton. Yeah.
Timmy Turner, Couture.
No.
No?
That was terrible.
Touche.
That was really bad. That was
That's
really, really bad. Can we all just give him a big boo? Boo! We're going to treat you like Roman Reigns.
I thought that was a good joke.
Michael, just shut up. Anyways, let's talk about hockey. Connor McDavid, 100 points, second year. No rookie, sophomore slump. Sophomore slump. First year as captain. Finally guided the Oilers to their first playoff appearance since going to the final in 06 versus the Hurricanes. Crazy, 11 years ago.
Yeah, it feels like a wow.
That
Yeah.
was,
That feels long, but Ottawa, Anaheim doesn't.
It doesn't feel as long.
Even
I
though it's
know.
a year later.
I
the
know.
thing is because that year was the transition where we became real hockey fans. Like
I
diehard.
don't know about real. I was pretty real before, but I think it was like.
Diehard.
Anyways, I don't know. Whatever. We're not talking about this matchup at all.
No.
So yeah, Cam Talbot's lack of playoff experience, the lack. I think they. I don't remember what I heard today on TSN, but they mentioned something about Edmonton's defense like really lacking in NHL experience, not just playoff, but NHL experience. They have guys that haven't won that played shit.
Well, I know that.
Even their forwards, no one's played other than Lucic. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and maybe
Maroon,
yeah, they have
Yeah, Maroon, okay, but
like,
yeah.
for playoffs, no.
You counter that with Anaheim. Those guys are just flooded with experience.
Yeah.
It's,
David Desharnais. Is he an
Oh,
experienced guy?
David D.
David D. That fucking moron.
He is a playoff.
Terrible. Oh yeah, huge. Yeah, man, huge. Just like his body, huge.
Yeah, huge.
Fucking idiot. Anyways,
It's
who do you guys have winning this one?
I was watching TSN this morning, and I know you said Edmonton hasn't been there in 11 years. And I knew that, but like they put up a graphic saying they were interviewing Jordan Eberle, and they're like, this is gonna be his first playoff series.
Yeah.
And like it hit me like, wow, they've had so many young players for so long, and this is gonna be a first time experience for a lot of them. Like picture, well, E. Hall is gone. Like,
Yeah.
all these guys that were,
Mind you, they got ripped off from that trip.
yeah, all these guys that they were trying to
Simmons.
rebuild with, and they're finally in the playoffs, but like
Yeah.
the lack of experience.
Because of McDavid, let's be honest.
Yeah, because of McDavid. The lack of experience, I think, is where it's gonna hit them. I think they'll still keep it tight. It's gonna be a hell of a series, and like you said, San Jose coming off that Stanley Cup final, I think they're just as hungry. Why not? I think I can see them maybe not going back to the final, but making a deep run.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say San Jose in 6.
That's what I said. I said San Jose in 6. I think McDavid's going to score some points. I think he's going to put up some numbers. I think Lucci's going to be a factor. But I think at the end of the day, I think San Jose's overall experience, leadership, is going to take them over the hump. Joe Pavelski, I'm assuming he had a quiet, good year. Because, again, I didn't really hear much from
He
him.
always does.
But come playoff time, that guy is
He's pretty clutch.
he's dangerous.
Yeah. What else do they have?
Burns.
Brent, Jesus Christ,
Patrick
how do we
Marleau.
forget Patrick Marleau, even though he's old now?
The problem with San Jose is that you guys look at their star power, but the real problem is, and even last year, was that the Preds couldn't roll 4 lines out like they did. They're so deep of a team that it's so hard to stop them.
You're talking about who, Pittsburgh?
San Jose. Like when the Preds played them in the playoffs.
Oh, the Preds. Okay.
Like, yeah,
I thought you were talking about when San Jose played Pittsburgh.
We went to Game 7. I mean, it was a really close series until the final game because we were just so worn out by their skill and they have speed. They have big guys. They can play any game. I mean, Joe Pavelski basically had 30 goals.
Jesus. 29 goals, 39 assists.
I mean, the guy could.
That's a pretty decent season.
That's very good numbers.
The guy,
won games.
but the thing is that he does this every year. Every single year he does.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He did it quietly again.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's gonna be the things with San Jose that might screw them over is because they had a really long like last year they went to the Cup final. Burns and Thornton, I think maybe Marleau went to the World Cup of Hockey. They didn't have a long summer. Yeah. And that really hurts because they can't lick their wounds and just
Thornton
come back
play
and be
for Team
fresh.
Canada too, and Burns
That's
for
what
the
I
World
said.
Cup.
That's what I said. The World Cup of Hockey.
I thought you when you said I thought you meant the World Championships.
No.
But that doesn't make sense because that's during the playoffs.
The World Cup of Hockey.
Never mind. Yeah.
And so like.
Marleau did not go play in that.
Yeah, I don't think so. But they just have such a. They had a really short off season, and like it's been a long grindy season, and you could see at the end they're getting tired. They're not used to it because they're used to going to like the conference final and losing in like 4 or 5 games, stuff like that. So, I mean I could see an upset here. I think it's going to be a really interesting series. I want Edmonton to win, but I'm saying San Jose in 7. I think, like I said, that experience is going to take them over that edge. But I think this series will take a huge toll on San Jose.
Yeah.
Dealing with McDavid and that speed
is
going to take a lot of your stamina and energy. So
look, I hope Edmonton could come out of this. It'd be fun to see them try to make
I think they can pull off. I think if there was an upset alert, this would be the series.
Could be.
Yeah.
This would be the series.
I could see it. Yeah, but I just feel like first year back.
It's too much of a Cinderella.
Yeah. But
I hope it's like that.
I picked the Sharks in 6. Johnny picked them Edmonton in 6.
He's like crazy. He's like complete opposite.
You sure it wasn't Edmonton 7?
Double check. Yeah, Edmonton in 6. He's I don't know what he's smoking lately.
But he always does
all the hunting. He's bold predictions, whatever. I think the biggest thing is Edmonton's defense is going to be a huge factor against them. I think that lack of experience. I think Cam Talbot is going to crumble a little bit underneath the pressure.
Not only that, but you need 2 really good defensive pairings to at least stop their initial attack. You have the Couture line, and then you have the Thornton line, who's with Pavelski, and then Couture's with Marleau, and then you have Burns on the back end, and then you have Vlasic and Braun. It's not easy. So
all right. So I think we said enough about the matchups. Let's we have a little bit of extra time. Let's talk Cup final predictions for shits and giggles.
Probably wrong.
Extremely wrong. I'll let you go first since you have it written down.
That's really hard.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, it is a hard one. Like I said, I think the 2 favorites, if you're gonna pick them out of each conference, it'd probably be Chicago and Washington as the 2 favorites. I'm saying to come out. But like I said, you never know. Like Pittsburgh could be there; they're under the radar. Anaheim's under the radar. I think those 2 teams could meet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with complete bias, complete faith because Rene needs. He even said it in an interview. He's like, I'll never forget all my playoff losses. It makes me hungrier as a player. I want to win now. I know the time's running out. That's what he said. I'm picking Nashville to play Washington in the final. Washington's gonna get over that hump and finally go to the final. I'm saying my Preds are gonna win in 7. Bias, I know, but I have to show my love for my team. Time's running out for my goalie. We need to win now. We need to get over that Chicago hump because it's time. There's no more excuses. There's no more.
Let's be fair. If you guys lose to Chicago again, it's gonna be hard to like win again versus this team. Like maybe in like
mentally,
10 years
yes,
when like
mentally.
it's a new team, then you might beat them. But now it's
that's why I'm saying mentally they need to be locked
maybe,
in,
you know, maybe
ready to go.
I didn't think about this, but maybe Subban being there instead of a liability, maybe that fresh mind who never lost to them before without having any sort
But
of.
that's what I'm saying. That like
lack
lingering
of,
feeling. You know, like and last year I think was a good experience. We got past a really good Anaheim team in 7 games. We went to 7 games against San Jose. Yes, we got wrecked in the 7th game, but we were there. We were so close. And I think if we went to the conference final, I don't think the Blues would have beat us.
Yeah.
So I think everybody in their mind who's been on the team, minus Weber of course, has that in their minds. And we have a really deep team. Like when you have I know you hate him, but when you have James Neal on your third or second line, and he's consistently been a 25+ goal getter. I mean,
open net specialist.
No, he's not. He's not Pacioretty.
It's Patrick Radulov.
It
should be line mates.
Like I said, I'm biased, but I need to have faith in my team.
Yeah. That one, you have a prediction yet?
Yeah. Well, I'm deciding between Chicago and Anaheim, but I'm gonna say Chicago Pittsburgh. That would be like a hell of a series to watch.
We've been waiting. Well, not me, but the hockey world.
Michael just came out of the closet. Everybody, he is a Hawks fan, baby.
By we I meant the hockey world, but okay.
Okay, sorry.
Has been waiting for kind of this series for Crosby Taves.
Oh man, that would be. There's so much star power between those two teams. It'd be like,
it'd basically be like a.
The NHL would be swimming in cash.
Oh my god.
For the next.
And the bandwagons would be filled.
So, and who would win that matchup?
I gotta give it to Chicago in 7. Just because.
I'm doing my hand gestures. I was actually thinking Washington, Pittsburgh, Chicago, but just for sake of making it different, I'll say Chicago and Washington.
Yeah, I was stuck between that too.
And I'll say Chicago in 6.
Because they always win in 6.
They always win in 6, baby. You'd assume I'm a Hawks fan with the way I talk, but I'm really not. It's just
he really is.
This is the true story. Okay, I'll come clean. All right, you heard it here on the podcast. No bullshit. I'm a straight shooter, like I said before. I'm a diehard Senators fan. I live and die and bleed these colors: the red, gold, black, and white. All right, Ottawa Senators for life. Chicago is a team with a lot of players that I do like and respect as hockey players and as people.
Yeah.
And
as
as
people, that's a good one.
The people part more than the hockey part, to be honest with you.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Getting back to being serious now. And it's just they're like the Patriots to me, where they're just so good that you just can't help but be in awe.
You just have to respect
no matter what they do, no matter what players they lose, they always find a way to win.
You
games.
cannot compare the Pats to the Hawks.
Oh my
you cannot
god!
do it.
Look at how literal he takes like every single like letter he like analyzed.
But it's not the same,
dude. I'm not saying they're the Patriots. I'm saying they're similar in their franchise's design. You just say because you hate them, but the reality is that's what they are. And Taves and Kane, especially Taves, man, that guy just. He may not put up the points, but he's the leader, and you could tell he's the leader, and no one can deny him that. And I think them playing against the Capitals, finally getting over that hump. I would say if the Capitals could get to the finals this year, they would probably win the Cup the year after. Even if they're going to the East Final, I think they could win the Cup in the next 2 years. This team is not yet done, and getting over the hump would be enough for them to feel good about themselves, rather than losing in the second round like they always do. So... but I do, and this is not trying to troll you, Michael. I do truly believe Chicago will win at least another 2-3 cups with this team before they retire. Well, I think that's just inevitable.
Their forwards are young and they seem to replace them, but defense is getting older. They need to find a replacement.
It is getting older, but they know Keith is not old.
He's 34.
Yeah, Keith, that's not old. Chara's like 39, and he's just last year he became shit.
No, like
okay, and he's also a giant and plays a different
type
of game.
Regardless, he's still old. He's not in his 20s.
Yeah, okay, he's a little bit past his prime, but the guy's still putting up good numbers.
Of course, I respect.
I
respect Keith.
Nice.
Not as a human, but as a player.
What human? What has he done that's bad as a person? Wakey!
Telling Bacchus after he's concussed and dying on the floor after a dirty hit that was not penalized, by the way. that wakey. Like, what respect do you have?
All right. So those are our picks. Johnny didn't give me his finals pick, as I forgot to ask him. But who gives a shit? It's probably something bold.
He's probably gonna pick like LA. It's like
Johnny.
They're not in the final.
He's gonna pick like Edmonton, Montreal, or something stupid like that.
No, I don't think he's gonna pick Montreal.
Anyways, all right, guys. So that's been it for our playoff round 1 preview. We're gonna be doing for all the rounds, round 2, round 3, and the cup final, of course. This is our 4th podcast. We've released one on a review, which kind of dated now. I don't know if you want to go watch that. If you want to laugh at us be horribly wrong with how we thought the season would end, go ahead.
Way off.
Our second one was the Power Ranger movie recap. So if you guys like Power Rangers, go check that out because I love it. The last one we did was on WrestleMania 33, kind of emotional one. And do me a favor, guys. Check if you're not gonna listen to the whole thing. Listen to the end. The last 30 seconds of it, I did something nice and special for The Undertaker. I hope everyone caught that. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was my personal tribute to him because I do all the editing. And yeah, guys, we're going to be doing more of these. Check out our, like I said earlier in the video, our YouTube channel for, this will be on our YouTube channel, but if you're on SoundCloud, our YouTube channel for our predictions for the thing, and we sit down and we talk in front of a camera. And thanks for listening, guys. If you tuned in for the whole hour, this probably was kind of painful because we're painful. We're dying here. It's really hot, and
it was painful in the beginning with all those fuck ups.
Yeah, the spiders falling, cats going nuts, and microphone falling, and whatever. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe. We really appreciate it. Like the video or the audio. Subscribe. I already said that. Share the video with your friends. And shoot a comment. Tell us your picks. We'd like to talk to you guys. Start a conversation. And you know what? Bring the bias. Bring the hate. Talk shit on us and how we like our teams. We like this stuff. It's fun. It's all good fun. It's all for sports. In the end, doesn't really matter. So again, thank you so much for watching, guys. And we'll see you all for round 2. Take care, guys.
Peace.